Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, and I'm back with my plans and pans. We were considering the funding for the military budget and for the military personnel. And unfortunately, I felt the need to vote no on both. Let me just tell you the no reason. When it comes to the staggering $833 billion in new funding for the military, my view is we are spending too much money there. We could be spending so much more on housing, on healthcare, on the things that Americans need so much, because we have far more in our military budget than all of the rest of the world combined in how much is spent on the military. And so I generally vote no on the National Defense Authorization Act and, unfortunately, the funding also for our military. But the additional reason is that what we are seeing is what we call poison pills. Additional items that the Republicans have added to the money for the military and for the defense budget. Things like making sure that there is no funding for reproductive health care, that's eliminated, that there's no funding for gender affirming care, the issues that have nothing to do with the military. In their bill, it says that women in the military will not have permission to travel outside of where they are based in order to get the reproductive health care that they need. It's not necessary if they want to take care of the military to be able to allow for the funding that they need. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that there were things that are in the bill that I really do like. A 4.5% increase in the military pay, but unfortunately the legislation had just too many negative things in there for me to vote yes. I look forward to the day that I absolutely can indicate my full support for those who serve us in the military, both the military officers and service members and the civilians who do so much for us, and that we have a reasonable distribution of the money that goes to all the domestic needs as well as to add to our military spending. As a member of the Budget Committee, we had yet another hearing talking about, according to the Republicans, that too much money is being spent on Social Security and Medicare. They say that those programs are going to run out of money and that the answer is just to cut how much is being paid. So I began my remarks by saying to my Republican colleagues, I have one thing to say to you about cutting Medicare and Social Security. Make my day. These are the most popular, long-standing programs in the United States of America. 67 million Americans rely on Social Security. 65 million Americans rely on Medicare. And so I don't think it's a partisan issue. I am sure that families, Republicans, Democrats, independents, all support Social Security. And you know, so much money goes directly into communities every single month because of these benefits that go into Social Security and Medicare. In other words, communities benefit, small businesses benefit when people have some money in their pocket, and yet the Republicans say, no, we have to cut it. It is true that after about 10 years, unless we make some changes, that Social Security and Medicare could run out of funding. But there is a way to make sure that the money is available. One is by saying that the wealthiest Americans ought to pay a bit more into those programs. You know, there are so many millionaires, billionaires, gazillionaires in our country who can well afford to pay a bit more. And so, yes, ultimately, we're going to have to make some changes to make sure that Social Security and Medicare are available for as far as the eye can see. We want to make sure that those precious and well-loved programs are solvent for a very long time. I've been focusing a lot on nursing homes. One of the things that could make nursing homes safer and better, both for workers and for the residents of nursing homes, is to have what we call safe staffing standards. That means that right now in nursing homes across the country, there are workers who have to deal with as many as, I heard from a woman, 30 people, just she herself. You know that there were people in that nursing home who weren't getting their needs met. They weren't getting the care that they needed. And at the same time, these workers not only are overworked, but they're underpaid. One of the things that we're seeing right now is that private equity, that is investments by rich corporations, are starting to get a lot of money by buying nursing homes across the country. Now, when you say private equity is involved in the ownership of nursing homes, what that means is that the people who are putting the money in, it's not about the health care. It's not about the quality of care. It's about the profits that are being made. We are seeing that the top CEOs of these companies are making more and more money, and that the quality at nursing homes has actually been declining. We can do better. In the United States of America, we don't really have a long-term care policy that takes into account the aging of America, more and more seniors who need the kind of care, and wonderful people who want to work in nursing homes. I meet with them a lot, and they love the people that they serve, but they cannot do the job on the low wages that they are getting. We're going to have to make some changes in what we see in nursing homes, and I'm going to be there to fight for it. Every year there is a baseball game at National Park in DC between the Republicans and Democrats, members of Congress. They suit up, they practice, they go out in early morning and practice for the game. It's fun. Actually, there was a bigger turnout at the Congressional baseball game than there usually is at the regular baseball game at Nationals Park. And I got tickets for my staff to go. My husband Bob and I went to the game. It was kind of exciting. You know, for me, sorry to say, kind of embarrassed. The highlight is to get cotton candy and popcorn. But it's also fun to watch our colleagues. It's done for charity, raised over $2 million for good causes. It was a good evening, except for the score of the game. I have to say there was a minute when the Democrats had 5 runs and were up by 1 point. But at the end of the day, the score was, which looks more like a football score, the Republicans won 31-11. Not great. Our team absolutely did their best. And Really, it is one of the times when it is pretty much all in good fun. So I was glad that Bob and I went, and my team, Team Shakowski, was able to come to the baseball game. Clearly, we have a little bit more work to do to make sure that we win next year. There's always a next year, as the Cubs say. So that's it for this week, and I look forward to being back with my plans and pans next week. Thanks for listening. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.